a comedy game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I'm Trevor Scott, and with me, as always, is Ben Slinger.
Hello. What are we doing this week, Trev?
Let's get on board with this latest event in the whole dark web Steam. You know, the Dark Steam Awards.
Yep.
And let's just play some of those games that. Well, let's review some of those games.
Let's play some of those games. So we're going to pause this. We're going to go away for a week.
Yeah, we already did.
Oh, yeah, we did.
You know that's what we've been doing the last couple of weeks. While we were waiting while I was waiting for Shadow of the Oak Tree to drop, you know, I said, yeah, let's get in on this on the Dark Steam Awards. So
yeah, while it was still Shadow of the Erd Shrub. Yeah, that's right.
Oh.
So yeah, for those who haven't listened to these sorts of episodes before, there are all sorts of games out there on the dark depth of the dark web. And Trevor and I play them, so you don't have to, and tell you all about them.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll do our usual. We'll jump in, talk about the game a bit, and maybe give it a bit of a little
review score
at the end,
if we can be bothered.
If we remember to. Yeah.
So my first game that I want to talk about is the obvious ripoff, Return of the Spelunking Hero.
Yeah. Clearly a Spelunky, inspired
game.
It had some interesting things though.
Had some interesting things. There was a little bit more puzzly, and I think it's because it didn't have as much of the as much random generation sort of stuff, but
definitely
it was more
a bit more handcrafted,
more handcrafted, more puzzly. Did you ever play La Mulana? I think it was called.
Oh, rings a bell, but I don't remember exactly. But yeah, I know what you mean.
That was more of a puzzly sort of platformer game.
But I liked
felt a little bit more.
They kept a lot of the interactions between all of the different elements in the level. I thought that was really cool. Bringing in the vampire mosquito things that could that wouldn't just attack you. Like you could set up the puzzles, so that the mosquitoes would come down and attack the wolves and take their blood. And then you just had to deal with vampire wolves, which, if you had the right gear.
Which, silver bullets, silver crosses, you load that into the silver shotgun and away you go. It's easy.
So you had some interesting little strategies there.
Yeah. And I suppose what I like is that it gave you time to think about it, because every time you went in, you knew, okay, in this particular room, it's going to be kind of like this. There's still those things that are going to merge well, but you get those.
That's it. I think that they, obviously they're fixed puzzle rooms, but they gave you a lot of options, and understanding more about how the different systems worked and fit together meant, oh, okay, I can plan this out, and I am going to go and get the silver, crossbow, because even though the only vampire thing in the level is the mosquito, I can have that infect everything else and make it really easy to kill everything.
But what was good is when you finally got, down into the garlic garden, you could actually draw the wolves across to the other side of the screen with the garlic, and the vampire mosquitoes didn't want to come across there. And because you had them separated long enough, the shrub in the middle was able to come out, and then you could get up into the next screen. And, so there were a couple of almost Metroidvania-y.
Well, I think, what was interesting there was it was Metroidvania-ish in that, not that the game itself kind of unlocked things for you, but it was as you started to understand the mechanics better, it was like,
you could unlock different puzzles and get to different.
Yeah. So, and
different solutions for the same puzzles, which, it was really
I thought
cool.
that was pretty clever. I didn't like that, in the same way they obviously were inspired by being able to get a lick from the dog to get health in Spelunky, that they had that extended slobbery makeout scene to get health with the dog. It just felt like that was coming from a weird place.
Yeah, especially because the dog wasn't really into it. It was sort of like the dog would just be sitting there panting, and then all of a sudden you'd have that close up of the guy just going in for the kiss and just taking the tongue and putting into his mouth, and
using the tongue like the spaghetti strand and Lady and the Tramp, basically. Yeah. No, I know. It felt like kissing a dog has already got weird consent things going on.
Yeah.
And that sort of just really doubled down on that. So I did take some points off for that.
Yeah. Well, and thing is, I think it was like every now and again when you went down there, the character tried putting different substances around their mouth. So at one stage it was like coconut oil, and then
just really try to get the dog into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There were way too many like mechanics around just kissing this dog that was maybe not into it in the first place.
Yeah, and once you got down to Garlic Garden, you really had to do some pretty crazy stuff, because your character would just keep on popping it like breath mints.
Popping the garlic, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they thought the dog was into it.
But yeah. I mean, you saw how much the dog just, sort of moved away.
Yeah. No, that's it. And then when you get to Mint Mansion and you're picking all the mint leaves as well, like, there was a lot of breath-based mechanics in this. It wasn't all just for making out with the dog.
Oh, I think it was an homage to, like, Zelda Breath of the Wild, but they went too heavy on the breath.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know. It helped scare those mosquitoes away for that time being. So
well, and that's it. Like, it had its purposes against, the garlic against the vampires and the mint, against the gingerbread man. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I gave it 3/4 of a thumb up. Oh shit! What happened to the tip of my thumb? Oh my god, it's bleeding. No, sorry, but
yeah, it was a joke. Yeah,
yeah. 3/8.
Well, 3/8
of out of 10, like of a full score, which would have been 2 thumbs up.
Okay. Yeah. So, what I've decided to do this week is, give it a score out of 1 or 0. So it's binary. And this one got a 1.
Okay.
So yeah, it was fine.
Good. I mean, it's a perfect score. So you obviously enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, the game I wanted to talk about, also sort of inspired by another game, Dead Watch, which, was clearly an Overwatch style, team-based shooter.
All Underworld characters, which was
that's it. But then leaning
not the movie series Underworld. I'm saying Underworld is in
not like vampires and Wolverines. No, you had like Cerberus and like you had all this sort of but from different, like, there was lots of death-based figures from all sorts of different places, different mythologies and different things, which was kind of cool.
I really liked how one of the characters was Death from Discworld. But he was just on holiday the whole time. Just like in Discworld 2.
Yeah, they just had, like, you could put you select them with the cursor, but it wouldn't actually let you, like, pick them. That was kind of neat. Yeah, well, I did like the classic Grim Reaper. A lot of melee-based scythe attacks, obviously, with some, terror ranged attacks. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, but in that in a 5-on-5 shooter, it's because they went with the Overwatch 2 style, which is the 5-on-5 instead of the 6-on-6.
I think they were developing it. I think that kind of was a simultaneous. They were building off of Overwatch.
Yeah,
in the same way.
But yeah, I really enjoyed, like, because each death felt different. Like, and each character had, there wasn't just scythe.
No, that's it. Like, all the sort of different death
and flame
and underworld creatures.
Yeah.
I did
there
like
were flames, there were chains, there were, everything in between.
I was going to say I quite liked the grave mechanic where, you'd die and just a gravestone would pop up, but one of your other team members could then dig you up if there was enough time, and, you're sort of decomposing under there, but you'd come back, based on how quickly they dig you up.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool.
just the idea that you did also have, like, the grave digger that was like a neutral sort of NPC going around that you could pull over onto your side and get them to help dig up your other people.
Up your team members. Yeah, exactly. Like, it made it a bit a bit nicer that you weren't always like having to run back from the base to where the action was. That you could get in there.
If the synergy worked well, you could have those three other heroes that, formed sort of like the triangle around.
Yeah, like did the ritual and yeah.
And you could see, the whole idea about doing the stratagem style thing from Helldivers to actually input your part of the ritual. That was good fun because it was usually quite hectic. You had to kind of get into your spot, enter in your.
Well, that was good. I like that they used the mouse movements a lot more rather than just like key presses.
Just buttons. Yeah.
Yeah, that you were kind of having to like, almost do wand, do gestures.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really fun. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a little bit derivative, but a fun little difference.
Fun little difference. I've got to say, this is always one of my least favorite parts about games on the dark web. The amount of people playing.
Yeah. I did run into
having to wait for 25 minutes in between each match just to get paired with the same 10 people that you've already been with for the last half hour. Why didn't it do it quicker?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree.
And I swear, Body McSwaddington was a bot, 100%.
Yeah, despite the ironic name, I think it was actually not ironic. It was just sincere. It was a sincere name.
Sincere, yeah.
Yeah, that is the issue with the multiplayer stuff on the dark web for sure. So let's move on. What else did you play?
Well, I was going to give it
a score. Yeah.
Give it a score. So how many thumbs for you?
I give it one bony thumb up.
One bony thumb up.
No skin.
What happened to all the skin?
Well, it's Death's thumb.
Death's thumb.
Yeah.
Okay. This one gets a 0. Just because. Yeah,
because it was trash.
It was teetering. It was teetering in between, but it's either.
No, I mean that's a 0.
Yay or nay.
Yeah, so. You gave it 0. That makes sense.
So my one.
Yeah.
Funny enough, my next one. Dead or Alive, Hobo in the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
That fighting game where it was sort of like.
It was a little bit on the nose, I thought, but. Bringing in the
I thought it was a great piece of satire having the Dead or Alive, the crazy half naked
jiggle physics
fighters, jiggle physics and all that sort of stuff. And then Hobo from Hobo with a Shotgun, bringing those two worlds together. And then having it set at Disney.
In the Disney universe. Look, it was an interesting mashup. And this is one of the good things about the dark web is they don't really have to worry about copyright.
They don't care about copyright.
No.
They throw things in.
Yeah.
They don't care, that they
Disney
put those Mickey ears all over this.
Homeless people with shotguns wearing Mickey ears. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did like that they applied the jiggle physics to other elements.
Yeah.
Goofy's nose, Pluto's tail, the shotgun, funnily enough, which I thought was almost
the
like a toy shotgun
on the back of the golf carts.
Yep. Yeah. That was probably the best use of it, actually.
Yeah.
I found myself hypnotized at times.
Yeah. Because in between each fight, what I loved is you actually got into a golf cart and you drove
like a kart
to your next
racing
fight.
Sort of thing.
And you drove to your next fight in the tournament. And if you had to wait a little bit because your fight was at a certain time, you could,
go to the concession stands.
If
you had enough time, ride a Magic Mountain. Yeah.
Exactly. Now they got rid of Splash Mountain, which is good because that was based off of, what's it called? Song of the South. Just like in real life, how they got rid of Splash Mountain, they now have they obviously got rid of it in here just a little bit earlier as well, which is really quite good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although you could type in the secret code zippity doo dah and you did get the sign kind of fell down a little bit and then Splash Mountain was still there. It was just closed.
Yeah. Just a little bit of a nudge, nudge, wink, wink sort of thing. I thought Mickey's special moves were pretty inspired. When he takes his gloves off and you see his hands for the first time underneath.
You think they're going to be black, but they're not. They're just raw pink.
Yeah, raw pink and like blisters all over them. Like it was like one of those he's been close-ups.
He's been fighting, quite a bit.
I mean, he's 100 years old
for a long time,
isn't he? So
yeah, something like that.
He's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah. And look, I love me some Dead or Alive beach volleyball, and the fact that they did bring in, just a little bit of beach volleyball.
Yeah. Well, you had the volleyballalities and stuff where you could, if you were playing a Dead or Alive character, like finish them off with a spike from the volleyball, and that was kind of cool.
But you also did have, Minnie and Daisy in like the beach volleyball level as well that you could play as, and
the jiggle physics there, I think, was not well used. Yeah. I think that was a mistake. Yeah,
because I'm trying to think, because normally, Minnie's wearing a dress, not a bikini. I get that right, didn't I? Yeah.
Yeah, normally, yeah. Does Daisy Duck wear pants? Because Donald doesn't.
I know, I think it's a dress as well. Usually. But in this case, at least they didn't do what they could have done on the dark web, which is all naked. No, they actually did put bikinis on, and that was good.
Yeah. I mean, that's the other thing about the dark web is often it'll just turn pretty risque.
Yeah.
There's sort of no limits there.
But we see it so you don't have to. So
yeah, this is why we do this thing, We're like the common sense media for horrid dark web games.
Exactly. So Dead or Alive, Hobo in the Magic Kingdom, I give a 1.
Okay. I'm going to give it 1.5 jiggly thumbs.
Jiggly thumbs.
Yeah.
Very good.
They won't, they're finally slowing down. Okay, there we go.
Cool. A lot of that physics.
Well, there seems to always be just a lot of inertia with the back and forth on the jiggle physics there.
Yep.
Biosky.
I was going to do that one next. Oh.
I wouldn't have thought this one was up your alley as much because you usually don't like the sort of building games. Like it's not quite a management game, but more a god game.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was one of those sort of god-based games, but with essentially like floating biospheres.
Yeah, and effectively terraforming these biospheres and cleaning up the air and yeah.
Yeah, I liked
I thought of it kind of like Pauly Shore and Biodome, and that's where I was sort of coming at it from. How fucked up could I get first before I fixed it?
It did give you a lot of options to go in sort of either direction. You could do it in much more of a green way and like research the technologies that would let you clean the carbon out of the air and use that as energy and that sort of thing. But you could also just go fucking like petrol guzzling. These things are held up by pure fossil fuels, just burning as hot as possible. But I liked the way that it was because they're all modular. The way you built them was you had a lot of options and that, that you could build them in very 3D ways as well, which is unusual for that sort of thing. You could kind of stack them and then, depending on where you put them, having the sunlight play a big part on that as well. Like if you've got something that's in shade for too long, you don't want that to be like your greenhouse biodome.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't want to put the big magnifying glass over the greenhouse biodome either, because that's just going to set it on fire.
Yeah, that's it. That's purely for burning all the little ants on the ground, by which we mean
exactly
the ground dweller people.
Yeah.
Who are the, sworn enemy.
I love the narration. I think that was really well done. They got a really good Pauly Shore impersonator.
Yeah.
At least I think it was, because I mean maybe it could have actually been.
I don't know. Yeah, I didn't. Again, dark web, they're not good at crediting, but who knows?
No. But I did notice that there was like a little homage to the fact that Tenacious D was in Biodome, so that they had like a little poster in the background that was sort of pixelated out because it was Rise of the Phoenix with the big penis on the album art.
Well, they also had that Wonder Boy cameo. Did you get that? It was like one of the random events that would come up.
Yeah,
but
that was Sega Wonder Boy, not Rage Cage.
But it had mind bullets. I don't know. It must have been a bit of a mishmash. Yeah.
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 I get what they were going for, but I think that's why I wanted to bring it up, because I really enjoyed Biodome the movie, and I could play that out. But
there were definitely a lot of
biodomes,
little Easter eggs in there, which was cool. But underneath, like, I think a pretty solid, kind of civilization-ish civ builder. I don't know. Oh, so it was cool.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. This one I also give a 1.
Yeah, I'm actually going to give it a fully cultivated 2 green thumbs for growing things. Yeah.
2 green thumbs. This was kind of a fun one. My first sniper slaughter. Just, when you first see it, and it's sort of like, it's got, my first steps and those sort of other baby books, and it's like, and then they turn that page and it's like, my first sniper slaughter, and it
was a fun little
cutesy
satire, the little sort of little chibi figures, big heads, almost Fallout-esque, like in the way that they did the
bubbleheady,
the bubbleheady kind of thing, and that cheerfulness on the background of just utter slaughter, violence.
Yeah, and you could tell this was very much in the vein of that American Dream game, with the guns and all that sort of stuff, but just more about all these babies were going through this military training, and you having to play one that was going through the sniper training, and it's sort of like
and they sort of trick you at the beginning, because you start off just training and you're shooting stuffed toys and stuff. And so, like, I mean, you're seeing the stuffing come out of them, but it's like, this is, they've toned it down a bit. And then you get your first real mission.
Yeah.
And it's literally like killing a foreign ambassador, and it's just full on.
And, bloody.
Oh, yeah.
And, at any time you can jump on the radio and ask for your orange juice, and ask for your binky, and
because if you start getting sweepy, then you're not going to be able to complete the mission.
Exactly. And look, they went places with this game. Missions could take hours to complete,
and you had to really monitor when your nap time was. How
you had your spotter
comfortable
there,
you were,
which your spotter
for changing the nappies, and
and look, your character was 3 years old, and it played into that.
Yeah, if you got the random trait that they weren't toilet trained yet, then that had its challenges.
And look, your spotter they did happen to double as your nanny, and also as your spotter. So they'd wake you from the nap if you
if your target came
fell
into
asleep.
view.
But if you didn't have a long enough sleep and you got cranky, then you're not going to be a good shot.
Or you might just really get cranky and start shooting, non-target personnel,
random civilians.
Yeah, and then it's just the bloodbath.
Yeah. Now, I think the cutesy thing did get a little bit samey towards the end of that second mission.
Yeah,
which was an 18-hour mission,
and they really needed more variety in the cute sounds when you fired that sniper rifle. Like the first time, a little horn sound goes off or whatever, it's fun. But when you hear the same sound, for the 100th, 1000th time, particularly if you are cranky and going on a full blow slaughter.
Although,
that got a bit
if you let that slaughter go too far, and you got so super cranky, it did turn into that vuvuzela sound from the World Cup back in, I don't know what bloody year it was, 2006.
Yeah, that one short period where that was the most popular and most annoying sound in the world.
Yeah. But yeah, that second mission, 18 hours, 1 kill. Once you get through it though, the next missions are take out, every single one of the generals in this thing. And it's it's a 20-minute mission and it's 30 kills instead of the 1 kill waiting for,
I don't know if they were trying to sort of, get across the sleep deprivation that comes with having a child. And then the manic kind of, chaos that
oh my God, you literally have like a 5-second window to get the general as he's walking from the door to his car.
Yeah.
And the car is in between you and
Yeah. That was
so
a
you've
tough
got
shot.
this tiny little space. And if you've been caught, crying too much, they actually have extra, pads and bulletproof armor and stuff all over him. So you have to really get that headshot.
Yeah.
Good windage though. And the thing is, it wasn't unlike a lot of other games where you have to get that mission right.
Yeah.
If you do miss.
Yeah. There's some consequences, but it's not just you missed this one shot, so now you just got to redo the whole mission.
No, because you always know that there's a backup. Your arch nemesis, little Jimmy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they did that well as well. Because we all know 5-year-olds can be real assholes. But this one they nailed that.
Yeah, they really did. Okay. So I really did enjoy this, but I have to give it a 0 because of that second mission, because 18 hours is just a long time and you couldn't save in the middle of the mission. So that's the only reason it gets a 0.
Yeah, look, I think from a artistic point of view, that mission was really interesting. Again, like sort of putting you through the slog of what it's like having, managing a child, essentially.
It made me look for a second to see whether it was actually by Penn and Teller, because I
it
thought
has a bit of desert bus.
A desert bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give it 1 thumb up, but it's a baby's thumb.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Do you want to give your last one for tonight?
Yeah. So this was a fun little quick one, really. Blocky Ninja Rocket. Which
okay. Yep.
Was that was that fun little arcade game where you're like jumping between rockets as a ninja and having to disarm each of them.
Yes.
But
I remember this one now.
Yeah, but like each rocket had sort of different configurations based on the series of blocks that made up their body and the warhead and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I know how a match 3 works. Yes.
Yeah,
you had to match the 3. But the thing is, you didn't have to match in colors; you had to match in shapes.
You had to match in shapes, and then what was cool about it is that it wasn't a traditional match 3 where you've just got a whole board. It was guiding these rockets into it. Well, not into each other, but next to each other without crashing into each other, so that you could disarm them by matching up the different components. Yeah. So I thought that was just really innovative. It played pretty well.
Taking the match 3 to a different level.
Yeah. I didn't love the kind of Minecraft-esque blockiness of it. Like, I feel like it's just not a nice thing to look at for me. I feel like they could have done that with a bit nicer. I'm not saying it can't be stylized, but when they go the real chunky blocks, you lose a lot of character, I feel like. So, and that sort of didn't do it for me, but,
whereas I really quite like the 2D version of like a Minecraft character. I thought that was, kind of well done, keeping it simple, but, having those, blocky ninjas riding the rockets, surfing them down as they
well, like I said, in general, the gameplay and it was really good. And I like the ninjas and that sort of thing. But it was just the specific sort of stylization that got me a bit, but, I liked the way that worked. I liked that then, as you remove certain components, the remaining components in those rockets affect, their behavior and that sort of thing. So you got to watch out to, if you remove the stabilizers from all 3 rockets that you've connected up, then they're going to start spinning out of control, Yeah. So that was cool. And that all the different blocks going to have their different little features and attributes.
What I did like is it did have kind of a funky soundtrack just sort of going on in the background, that they obviously just went hell for leather over making those. Well, they weren't really MIDIs. I think they were more like the classic mod files.
Yeah, it felt very more voices. Classic, like chiptune-y, but not the super simplified. Yeah.
So that was quite good. They didn't shy away from using some classic rock songs and those sort of things.
Yeah, again, the copyright issues don't come into it. So it's kind of nice to hear those essentially like covers of some good tunes. Yeah. I think it just added to, like, it was just a very well juiced game. The explosions and the way that, things slotted into place. which has worked really well. And then, the music really helped that. So, yeah.
So I gave that a 1. Because I like the aesthetic. I like the music. I like the gameplay. It was just,
it was cool.
Fun game.
Yeah. I gave it some thumbs up, but you can't see them because I snuck away as a ninja too quickly. Yeah.
I did have one other game. I'll give a sort of like a honorable mention. Grey's Anatomatch 3. Because that was, kind of...
Title alone sold that one, yeah.
Title alone sold that. I love me some Grey's Anatomy, as we talked about in 2 weeks ago's episode, and just adding the match 3 aspect and just, how surgeries went was based on the match 3, and then you had little storylet things sort of happening in between. It was just...
Yeah, that was cool. I liked... the different symbols on the match 3 kind of playing out in the surgery. So, if you
need some blood, you need to get the red ones.
Yeah, that's it. But if you leave too many blood ones on the board, then you'll get a spurt just coming up and spraying out. And, if you don't hit enough anesthetic ones, then the patient might wake up. And
yeah. And, having to get the gold ones for, basically
finding treasure.
Well, I was thinking at first they were going to be more about, shocking the person back to life, but then I realized, no, that's the blue ones.
Yeah.
The gold is just, they dig down and
you never know what's in a body.
Exactly.
Especially Grey's Anatomy, like it's always so dramatic. It's
and
like
very sexual. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, if you find a dildo inside a body while you're doing a surgery, not where it's just in the cavity, like
it's just in the cavity. It's not even inserted.
It hasn't been
properly.
inserted. There was nothing to do with the surgery itself. It was incidental, but you save that for later.
Exactly. So yeah, that gets a 1 for me because it's Grey's Anatomy and the name Grey's Anatomatch 3.
Yeah. I think I'll give that did I give any 2 thumbs up? Maybe.
Yeah, you gave 2 thumbs up to the Biosky game.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was 2 green thumbs.
That was the green thumbs. This time they're just regular thumbs. Yeah.
2 thumbs up. Great. Okay. That's the end of this quick review episode.
Yeah, there were a ton of other games in the Dark Steam
game. Dark Steam Awards.
So go check them out. Let us know which ones you thought were good.
Yeah.
But if you want to find our previous episodes of this podcast online, go to podchaser.com/bitstorm. Or find it on the dark web and, just search the shadow browser for Bitstorm and then, pay your toll to Dirtman and that'll get you right in.
Oh, yeah. You got to pay the toll to Dirtman.
Yeah. We all know you got to.
He'll lead you down the wrong path if you don't pay the toll.
Yeah. He'll take you to his lair under the mountain where he keeps his dirt. Yeah. And leave us a review.
Yeah. If you like the song that we play at the start and end of each episode, that song is called Mount Defiance off of the album Containment Failure? Yes, by the band Dust.
Did you legitimately forget?
I legitimately forgot.
I thought you were doing a bit.
No, I literally thought, is it Containment Failure? Yes, it is, because there was a container that we originally played in, and it was kind of fun. So yeah, you can check that out at kurodust.bandcamp.com. It's all free, and it's a different mountain to what the Dirtman.
The Dirtman's not under Mount Defiance.
No.
So thank you again for joining us this week on Bitstorm. I'm Ben Slinger.
I'm Trevor Scott.
And I'm the Dirtman.
No, I paid my toll. I promise.